If you believe everything you're reading that Reuters, Bloomberg, and other mainstream media outlets are writing, you might think that Tesla's Robotaxi is in big trouble. First, Bloomberg is reporting that NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administrators, has called Tesla after seeing the online videos about issues on the Robotaxi service. Is Tesla in trouble? Not at all. Let's see why. Second, the news agency Telegraph has a headline saying Musk's robotaxis have been caught speeding. Well, funnily enough, that's because of me. They actually cite me of all people in one of my videos. Yeah, the car was going a whopping 39 miles per hour in a 35 zone and slower than the flow of traffic. Third, in other articles, they're reporting Tesla's launch fell short of expectations. Let's take a look at their reasoning. And fourth, we'll review the progress of all the automakers who announced they will launch robotaxis by 2020. Where are they now? I've got Brian White joining us today. Brian has his YouTube channel, FutureAza, and boy, he's been traveling the US as he does, and he's got incredible videos he's been just sharing with you. He's got two big ones that are coming soon, just very exclusive interviews of actual companies and big things that matter. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, we can't talk about what they are yet, but they're happening so soon that the driving is becoming, not the driving itself, but the pace of the commute is stressful. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for having me on, Herbert.
I appreciate it. That's one thing you do that few do. So you travel to places, you get these exclusive interviews. Check out his channel, FutureAza, when they drop, which is sometime this week. Okay, so this is what happened, right? We had the big Robotaxi event launch on Sunday. And as expected, we knew what the mainstream media was. They were all contacting us and saying, hey, can we interview you? Can we interview you? Can we get in a car with you? And the small group of us knew what they were going to do. They would just take whatever they could and make stupid headlines. And that's what they did regardless. So let's go through it. Here's one. NHTSA contacts Tesla on robotaxi issues seen in online videos. This is what Bloomberg News is reporting. NHTSA, of course, is the government agency, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and they're seeking information from Tesla because they saw these videos. Well, guess what? Yeah, that headline may create a lot of drama, but it's NHTSA's job. It's not unique to Tesla. NHTSA opened an investigation into the performance of Waymo's vehicles last year after reports of its robotaxis potentially violated traffic safety laws. They also investigated GM's Cruise in the past, as well as Amazon's Zoox. Like Waymo, like Amazon Zoox, Tesla will just issue a software update to address anything it may need to. NHTSA asking Tesla questions, that's not bad. It's their job to keep an eye on these things and to seek clarification from companies if they have concerns. So Sawyer thinks that this will ultimately end up not being a big deal. I agree. This guy said, Reuters scoured the entire internet for the only potentially negative story on Robotaxi launch. The dedication commitment to being a Tesla hater these days is almost admirable. And Elon just laughed. What's your thoughts on what it all means?
Let's take a look at it. So Bloomberg went out there. They didn't have an invite. Not surprising. There were only a dozen-ish invites out there. And if you got into one on those first day or two, it's because either you were invited or you rode along with someone like Herbert. So Bloomberg and all the others went out and said, hey, can I interview you? And all of the Tesla people said, hey, it was a great ride and no. Can I get a ride? No. And the thing is, Bloomberg and Reuters have really shot themselves in the foot. Now, the trick here becomes, if you don't give them the story, they're going to find a story anyway. Maybe they would have been fair. Maybe they would have been ebullient and excited for the ride, but there's just no way of knowing. And their track record is no longer one of honesty. Reuters used to be a very highly regarded news wire service, but then they put in a paywall and they became a competitor to their own clients and realized clicks is where it's at. We're going to chase clicks instead. And like Sawyer said, this is routine. It's like when Starship launches. When Starship launched and did 99% of the things right on one of those earlier missions, and then at the last minute it did something wrong, there was an investigation. Oh my gosh, SpaceX is under investigation. Well, no. This is just how it is. This is how it works every time. If there's any anomaly from the flight plan, it is investigated. And then what we've seen with Starship, with Starlink launches, with all of SpaceX stuff, is that they look at it, they go, yep, understood, got it. Now, if this was really, if going 4 miles over while still being under the speed limit was a huge concern, cars wouldn't be allowed to drive. All cars.
Yeah, I've got the video clip, by the way, but it's
Sure.
quite funny that I was part of this whole, they'll take whatever clip they can find and then they'll make a big deal of it. I think it's a good way to explain to people,
Sure.
technically correct. Is it a big deal? No. All right.
No.
Yeah.
And if you want to show that, you can. But yeah, we are still seeing Waymos going the wrong way down roads. Should that be investigated? Yes. Does that mean Waymo should cease operations and they're going to zero? I don't think so. Those things may happen, but it would be entirely unrelated.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is, I thought it was quite funny. The Telegraph wrote this article called Musk's Robotaxis Caught Speeding as They Hit Roads for the First Time.
Come on.
And, okay, I've been caught speeding, driving into oncoming traffic as the billionaire's driverless ride-hailing service, billionaire, hits roads for the first time. All right, video shared by some of the first customers in Austin showed the autonomous cars breaking the speed limit on multiple occasions. Another video showed the self-driving car briefly crossing into the wrong lane at a junction before swerving back. I already did a show on that. I'm not going to cover that today. I'm going to cover the speed limit today. So Tesla investor Sawyer Merritt, his car hits 40 miles per hour after passing multiple signs stating the speed limit is 30 miles per hour. In another live stream published by YouTuber and Tesla investor Herbert Ong. Well, how come they didn't say it's a billionaire?
That guy.
I don't know why I didn't say billionaire Herbert Ong. His vehicle drives at 40 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. On the live stream, Mr. Ong said, the speed limit is 35. It's going at 39 right now, which is perfect because I don't want to drive at 35.
That sounds like correct. Herbert Ong.
That is correct. That is what I said. But, and I'll play the clip. They don't say what I then say after that, the 10 seconds. What's funny, though, is that this sentence is why when you see people on talking, these news outlets, like one woman was interviewed right after Dan Ives on CNBC, and she said, yeah, Tesla's have been caught speeding. She said that because of me. So, okay, let's take a look at.
You are the news, Herbert.
I'm the news.
We are the media now.
Looks like,
Is it respecting speed limits? Do you see the speed limits?
It's right there. Yeah. So it's driving as fast as it's a speed limit is 35. It's going at 39 right now, which is perfect, right? Because I don't want to drive at 35, and it's driving at the same flow of traffic. That's, I think, what's important. If everyone else is driving this speed, you want to be at the same speed. As you can see, the cars in front of it. It's comfortable. Perfect. I was just.
Okay, so take a look at this. We're going at the same speed as every other car is going.
You're not being a nuisance to the flow of traffic.
It's actually more dangerous if you drive too slow. Look at the car on the left. It goes ahead of us. Okay, now it's a big deal. And then you'll see that look at this, the speed limit or the car speed goes down to 35, 32, goes down to 30, goes down to 20s. It's like slowing down because everybody's slowing down. 20, 19, 18. Was that dangerous, Brian? My gosh.
No, it is the opposite. It is the way I've seen people in other countries look at our FSD videos and say, boy, in my country, if you went 2 over, you'd get a ticket. Great. It won't. Well, there are countries that are like that. There are countries where you must go the speed limit, but this is not one of them. Speed limits, I've never seen anyone pulled over for less than 7 or 8 miles an hour over, unless there was a second factor, tail light out, registration expired. Yeah, you have to go with the flow or you cause a different problem.
Yeah, most here in Washington State, I think it's the general rule of thumb for me was 10 miles over. That's when it's called speeding. But because, plus minus, right? It's like, oh, God, the cop's there and goes 36, 37. I'm going to get them now.
Right. And it's high. And you need to look at the road conditions. I've seen on this road trip a number of places where some roads will have a minimum sign. The speed limit is 60, 70, whatever it is, minimum 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get out here if you're going less than 40.
More dangerous. The point is that the car should drive the way that the best driver in that city or whatever it is driving. And and you can set it, by the way. So there is an easy setting on the app, and you can also set if you want Robotaxi to be, well, he's RFSD. I don't know if you can set Robotaxis, but to be standard or chill, right? Okay, so that was just interesting. But I just just thought that it was, to take a little clip of mine, make it into a big deal, and then when you really watch it, it's not that big of a deal at all.
Well, your molehill has been promoted to mountain. Congratulations. And for those who don't know, FSD does have 3 modes. Chill keeps you in the right lane, is pretty laid back. A lot of people like that mode. Standard is where I leave it most of the time. But there is a 3rd mode called, well, I call it Hooray. I think it's pronounced hurry. Oh, it's hurry. Yeah, okay. But I call it Hooray because it'll drive more like I would if I was in a hurry.
Exactly. And so here's just another point that they tried to make, which is, again, all this is technically true, but let's take a look. It says here, the initial video suggests that Tesla's cars do not always follow the rules of the road. Okay. The thing is, like that sentence is very misleading. I think that, yes, so first it's like, oh my God, the initial videos are showing you that this is something new, that they're not following. Does any driver actually follow the rules of the road 100%? You're not supposed to. All of them? Yeah, if there's a white line, you don't have to always not cross it. You want to do what's safest for the scenario situation. And so,
yes.
I mean, it's like,
otherwise, if there was a delivery van pulled over, traffic would be legally required to just stop and wait for 20 minutes and not cross the line. When I was a teenager, my stepdad fiercely, strictly imposed the 2-second following rule, and cars would weave in and out in front of me, honking and screaming at me because that's not how you drive in all And I finally said, look, you can yell at me if you want, but I'm going to drive like a human being now.
Okay, so let's do another article here. Of course, the question is that the launch happened, and there's a number of outlets that were saying that Tesla's Robotaxi rollout fell far short of the company's pitch of a generalized, scalable, autonomous solution. It's one of those scenarios that is damn if you do, damn if you don't. So they thought, boy, Tesla's going to come out on day one, general solution, the entire United States, or let's say the entire Texas, there's no geofenced, and you don't have a safety driver, you just go. And that's what they thought. Now, because it was geofence and you had not a safety driver, but a safety monitor, they're saying this was a failure. Dude, that's damn if you do. What would they say if Tesla did that? They'd scream. Okay. They would scream. How responsible that is.
This feels like a pre-written headline. Yeah. And then just some check boxes that they marked so they could get it out quickly, because there is nothing they could have done that would have resulted in positive headlines in that situation. Because like you said, if they rolled it out wider, it would either be too wide or not wide enough. Safety observers either, well, they should have had them. This is reckless. And then accidents happen statistically. You can get T-boned by someone running a red light. There are ways that accidents can happen that are simply unavoidable. Those, if you did a 1 million vehicle rollout, we would have seen an accident by now, probably. Even if it was a perfect system, that would be the headline. The other day I turned right at a stoplight. I saw a collision at the next intersection down. And I said to the gang, you will not see that in the news, because neither of them was a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So it says the safety monitor was sat in the front passenger of the handful of that began operating a limited part of Tossin was the contradictions of Elon Musk's autonomous ambitions made flesh.
Shut up, Bloomberg.
To be clear, it is sensible to have a human driver ready to intervene when robotaxis first get out of the road, just as Waymo did. Whether they sit in the actual driving seat or a short distance away makes little practical difference because, even though they're not in front, but they're there. Yeah, that guy can actually hit the brakes and the speeding limit, but they can steer right away. Okay. Anyways, I mean, they're just saying that
you can kind of
matters,
steer.
What they're saying is what matters is this is not what Tesla promised. And it's just, okay, yes, it's like, you can see that very shortly, this will all go away now because you want to just do it step by step. This was day one. Okay. Then first week, then a month, then 2 months. And we'll see where this goes. But it's hilarious that they're already calling it a failure. Okay. I love it.
See, if you wanted to include the media on day one, there are specific authors at sites like TSLA and Clean Technica who have a depth of understanding, who know how FSD works, who have a track record of fair coverage. But Tesla didn't want to go that route, and I can see why. This is a very, very small number of people in the first round. If those authors really care, they'll get out there, all of them. Bloomberg will be able to get a ride at some point, but I don't think they'll bother because the hype has passed. If you're not day one, if you're not first, you're last. And Bloomberg doesn't care about having an honest story. They care about having a big story.
Something. And you can see here they're looking for something. So let's go through the list here because I just wanted to address a few things. That safety monitor, the person sitting on the right, they had their finger on a button, and at one time there was a Dave Lee was driving, and then there was a UPS truck, and UPS Dave's Robotaxi was going to get into this open parking spot, but the truck decided, hey, I'm going to get there even though you're already there. I'm going to go back. Safety monitor clicked a button on the screen that basically told the car just stop. And it was stopped. It was already stopped, but he just said don't move. He did that. So there is an intervention that is something that they're just making sure. Now we don't know what the car would have done. Maybe it would have stopped. Maybe it would have reversed. But they just wanted to prevent. They're there to first day be absolutely clear that there is no. So yes, that was an intervention. Now, the other reason I think that they're really there, why are safety monitors there? The reason is because we already know that Tesla enemies are out and they're going to do everything they can. Dan O'Dowd will throw a child in front of the car as fast as he could if he could. Now, he goes, okay, fine, children might be too much. Let me throw a dog in front. You know what I mean? They'll do whatever they can to show that this is dangerous. So the person was there with a finger on the button to says, if some crazy person comes on and does something, I'm going to stop the car. Because you know how they'll do it. They'll just throw it without, no human being would have been able to react to it the way that they'll do it. They also says here that, okay, it's invite-only riders, limited areas. Well, they're only going to do 10, so you can only do invite-only. Of course, it's going to be a limited area if you have only 10 cars. Between the hours of 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. Again, just the first week, maybe. We'll see when they changes. And not at all in event of inclement weather. Exactly. Yeah. If it's rained, they stopped it. That's what they did yesterday. But why? Well, because this is first week. They don't want any issues. But what happens when, but my car, your car, we live in Seattle, we live in Washington State. It rains all the time. FSD works just fine in rain. And if it is too much, then of course you don't want anybody out there at all. So, it's just being cautious. That's what this is.
So what we see with humans is, I have to get where I'm going and it's too important. I'm going to go no matter what. On days like that, you see a lot of accidents on the road. Mm-hmm. If all cars were autonomous, Waymos, Cruises, whatever, Zooks, whatever it may be, let's say it's 50 brands of autonomous cars, and all of them decided, I'm not driving in this weather, or I am driving in this weather, we would see those cars piling up just like humans do because it is an unsafe condition. So what will happen when we get to 100% autonomous, the real problem with solving autonomy isn't figuring out how to drive, it's figuring out how to predict humans around you, because humans are very unpredictable. If all cars, if I said, Herbert, I'm building this new city, all humans will not be permitted to drive, do you know how many companies would be able to operate safely within that space? Right. All of them, because it'd be very easy. Mm-hmm. We will have this gap when Uber and Lyft are gone. And all of the autonomous vehicles say, today's weather, it's too foggy, too rainy, too snowy, whatever it is. We're just not offering rides. And I don't know how people are going to get around on those days, but I think that window of time will be fairly short.
But that's what happens today. That's what happens today. I mean, if there's a major snowstorm, nobody should be out there. Only stupid humans are out there, and you shouldn't be out there. But that's
sleeping at the office is no fun, but sometimes people have had to do that.
You have to do it if it's massive snowstorm and all that. So when people go, oh, what will Tesla's cars do if there's massive fog or snow? Don't drive.
Not kill you. It'll not kill you, which is
Don't get out there.
The objective, by the way. So you would hope, but there is a level below. Clearly, no one should drive, and it probably should be able to handle this. I will tell you that I'm on version 13, of course, hardware 4, and in Washington State, it performs very, very well. But once I get in, 100, 200 miles from the coast, performance begins to degrade. It feels like version 12. It does a lot of things that are dangerous still and crazy and weird. When a lane is closed ahead on the highway, it will wait until we're just about hitting the cones to merge over, no matter how many times you hit the blinker. And sometimes you'll convince it to get in the other lane, and it'll get back into the lane that's visibly closing right there. So I don't know. There's still some gaps in version 13. We don't see them as much because we live on the coasts. I understand the frustration from a number of my viewers who've had less successful experiences.
This just speaks to that the more the cars drive, the more that they learn that specific area, and that's these things will go away. That's the data.
Yes, and it is getting better, but it's just a very strange, because people always viewers regularly tell me about some of these shortcomings, and I never see them until I get out here, and then of course I'm kind of scratching my head.
So let's go through and take a look at what here's Tesla launching in Austin. Limited news articles are claiming it to be a failure, despite the fact that they're now existing along with Waymo. So I want to just bring back this screenshot here from ARK Invest, and they showed you, okay, well, most automakers have dropped out of the race. Tesla and Waymo entirely. So if you look at this, Tesla announced that they're going to do autonomous commercial launch. They did that in 2017. People go, oh my God, guys, every year Elon claims it's here, it's here, it's here. Here we are, 2025, and Tesla's launch happened, 2025. It's right here in this spot here. Volvo said that they were going to do it. Well, now, no expectation of launch. They said that. They announced that Google, GM, Audi, Mercedes, Nissan, BMW, Daimler, Continental, they all said that they were going to do this. Google, of course, launched Waymo. They launched in 2018. But everyone else, where are they? And
there's a bunch of names that are not on there. I know Nissan, as late as 2016 or 17, was still saying level 4 by 2020. And then they quietly just stopped mentioning it. On the 24th of this month, June 24th, I think it was, Intel announced that they are basically closing their automotive division, which shouldn't impact their Mobileye team, but clearly it will. I don't know how it couldn't. And Mobileye, as great as it is, as much as George Hotz is a brilliant man, I'm just not convinced that solution has any of the pieces needed to achieve full autonomy.
Mm-hmm. So let's go through some yesteryear announcements, because it just seems that these media outlets will favor anybody not Tesla, and anything Tesla does apparently is a failure. So here we've got Verge in 2020. Ford delays launch of Robotaxi to 2022 because of the pandemic.
Well, that's why. Of course, why. Yeah,
that's why they did it. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Nobody ever criticized Legacy Auto for failing to deliver. Ford launching a huge Robotaxi service in 2021 at half the price of Uber. This is 2018. Of course, Brian Wang's our friend. He just wrote the article explaining what other people have said. Ford launching a huge Robotaxi service, and this is what they're announcing. Whole Mars catalog, it says Ford delays launch of Robotaxi service until 2022. Yeah. This is all the articles that was written in 2020. Verge, CNET, Fortune, right?
Last year, I had the opportunity to go out to the Ford Ford factory, and I was taken into their graveyard where all of the old stripped down cars that they've benchmarked are, and some of their old prototypes. I found an electric Ford Explorer, like one that they had just converted. But I found a bunch of Argo AI cars, which is what Ford was using, that they were just sure was their solution. It looked a lot like a Waymo. It had all the goofy sensors and whatnot. And yeah, they just gave up.
It just gives up. They have to. They will. They will all have to give up. I mean, I'm sorry, not all, but a lot of these people are saying, yeah, we're going to do it. Here's Morgan Stanley. Let's see what they're saying about Tesla. Morgan Stanley sees autonomous vehicles as overhyped more than a decade out. This was 2022, so 3 years out. They're saying, hey, yeah, autonomous vehicles won't be here for a decade out. So we think you'll need closer to 2 decades than 1 decade to see the inflection. This is the way they talk. And then, of course, what are they saying now, 3 years later? This is the thing about people. It's like they forget what they said a few years ago. Never in my lifetime. Well beyond 2030, Morgan Stanley says. This was in 2022 again. This is a month later. That was February. This is March. They are saying a decade out, 2030. So Yashu just posted this yesterday. Remember when Reuters told you in 2021 that Apple Car was coming very soon to eat Tesla's lunch? And they would beat them to launching robotaxis? And Elon said, I remember. Elon remembers. So that was fun.
Apple is a great company. They've made some great products, but they're not a manufacturer. They're a designer. And you can design all you want. That doesn't mean you're going to be any good at making a car. And the real problem with Apple's car is it relied on several moonshot technologies to converge. And if any one of them was missed, they would be stuck. And unfortunately, it looks like all of them missed. Same with Dyson. They said it's got to have autonomy. It's got to have solid state batteries. It's got to have the cost curve coming down faster than anyone was predicting it would. And they got $500 million into it and realized this ain't gonna work. So they wisely cut their losses and got out.
I appreciate you explained all that, because I think that's underappreciated now, right? The fact that it is hard. This is not easy to do this. And so many will say we're going to do it too, but they really aren't going to be able to. Tesla achieving what we did on Sunday, that they actually launched it, was a major milestone, massive undertaking to be able to do this. Now they go, well, Waymo's already been doing it, but there's a difference in how Waymo was built and what they're going to accomplish versus what Tesla's deciding to do, which is going to go robotaxi across the world at scale, the lowest cost possible, that's going to actually make them money, right? So this is a huge milestone for Tesla, regardless if they kept it, limited and all that, because there's so many haters. And that was the key thing, was just to make sure that the enemies don't do something this week or 2 weeks to really just set everything back. So they need to just be super careful first. And then once it scales, though, it's going to scale really quickly. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Appreciate you. Follow Brian on his YouTube channel, FutureAza. Thanks, everybody. Bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.